What are you committed to, and how committed are you? The true test is what you're willing to give up or pay to stay the course. Welcome to the 2020 New Testament Challenge. Today we're in Luke chapter 14. A few years ago, I was leading a budgeting class with a group that was going through a Dave Ramsey money course. One woman in the class, whose husband was in the military, deployed overseas for a year, made a radical commitment to getting out of debt. She added up what she would spend during an entire year on stylings and coloring and products, and she decided to cut all of her hair off to save the money. She was committed to getting out of debt. Our founding fathers, who signed the Declaration of Independence, agreed to pledge their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. They were willing to do whatever it took to secure freedom for our nation. Most of those that signed lost everything that they had. Nathan Barlow is a man I read about in Francis Chan's book, Crazy Love. He was a missionary to Ethiopia, to particularly those with mossy foot, which was a debilitating disease that affected your limbs and your feet. Well, he got a toothache while he was on the mission field, so severe that he had to come back here to the States. He said to his dentist, "Pull all of my teeth and give me false teeth. I don't want to have anything disrupt the work that God is doing there in Ethiopia." That is commitment. The Apostle Paul, he was willing to endure beatings, imprisonment, hunger, many other things. He was threatened again and again to stop preaching about Jesus. But what did he say? "I will not stop, for to me to live is Christ and to die is gain." Here in Luke chapter 14, beginning in verse 25, Jesus says that there are three things that we have to do if we're going to be his disciple. In fact, you cannot be my disciple, Jesus said, if you don't do these three things. In verse 26, put God first. That goes above any other relationship. Family, friends, Jesus said God has to be first. Second, in verse 27, he says, you must carry your own cross. That means we die to ourselves and our desires. And thirdly, verse 28 to 32, we need to count the cost. He gave two examples. A man that was going to build a tower. He said, doesn't he first sit down and count up if he has enough money to finish the project? Or a king who is about to go to war. Doesn't he first sit down and decide whether he can win with the amount of money that he has? There's always a cost to following Jesus. Following Jesus means that we are going to go cross-culture with our country and those that are following the way of the world. It's cross-grain with the way that most people live, because we're going to listen to God and do what he says as opposed to what the world says. When we're going to follow Jesus, that means we're going to face opposition. We're going to face ridicule. We will not always be popular or be accepted, but it's more important what God says than what other people say about us. So Jesus said, if you're going to be my disciple, you have to count the cost, carry your own cross, and put God first in every relationship. There's a song that we sing in church. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. Though none go with me, still I will follow. No turning back. That is the call to discipleship. And that's what Jesus is calling us to count the cost and follow him. Thank you for joining the 2020 New Testament Challenge.